We begin with breaking news here at 6. 4 months after a police officer shot and killed Stephen Jones on Blue Hills Avenue in Hartford, the Inspector General put out a report that says the shooting was not justified. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. The Inspector General put out a report today that now shares the details of what happened the day Jones died. And Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot joins us live with more details. Kay, what can you tell us?
Officer Joseph Magnano is charged with manslaughter in the first degree. The report also identifies him as the one who shot and killed Stephen Jones back on February 27th. The report says Jones's sister called 911 because Jones had cut himself and had a knife in his hand. When officers arrived on scene, they demanded Jones to drop the knife. When that didn't happen, Officer Josue Charles tased Jones, but it did not work. Officer Charles and Officer James Prignano and Jacqueline Torres surrounded Jones with drawn, while they and neighbors continued to try to get Jones to drop the knife. The report says when Officer Magnano arrived on scene, Jones began walking towards him. In this body cam video, Officer Magnano tells Jones to drop the knife. When Jones does not and walks towards him, Officer Magnano shoots him. In the autopsy report, Jones had 7 gunshot wounds to his torso. He died on March 3rd. Magnano says he shot Jones because he feared for the people's safety who were watching and the other officers. He said, quote, "I was fearful of Jones making a sudden lunge towards either an officer or citizen." According to the family, Jones did have a history of mental health problems, and his shooting has sparked a lot of conversation and concern in Hartford regarding excessive force by the police officers and whether or not if the shooting was justified, and in the report, it was not justified. Coming up at 10, we will hear from people in the area on their reaction towards the officer being charged, and I actually spoke with someone moments ago, and he told me he was there when it all happened. He said he was very close with Stephen and said he was trying to help Stephen and calm him down before he was shot and killed. Live in Hartford, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Thank you, Kay. And now to a breaking news update. After reports of an active shooter situation at an Islamic center in San Diego, investigators say a security guard was shot and killed. They also say 2 teenagers were found dead nearby, believed to be from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. And police say they appear to be the suspects. Right now, the FBI is investigating. Tonight, 100 people are facing charges in Tolland after police busted a cockfighting ring operation this past weekend.
Now, we sent Fox 61's Victoria Anderson to Tolland, where many neighbors are shocked and disgusted by the allegations.
Some of that new information includes 100 names of all the people charged in this case, including the 2 people who police say lived in the home behind me where the cockfighting took place.
We pass by here every day, wouldn't know this is going on.
Unbelievable. It's unreal.
Neighbors tell me they can't believe what police say was going on inside this home on Mountain Spring Road. Investigators say it was a hot spot for illegal gambling and cockfighting. Homeowners Elvin and Lisa Miranda are 2 of the 100 people arrested and charged over the weekend during a search and seizure by state police. Local William Roy tells me this was something that he never expected to happen in his backyard.
I mean, I was overseas and in the Philippines and places like that they had these, but right here, no, and Tolland's a pretty quiet community.
Investigators seized $90,000 and found 273 birds on property. Those birds had to be euthanized.
They should get prosecuted. I mean, killing those birds, cruelty to animals and all that stuff. I don't play that ball game.
Elvin and Lisa Miranda are scheduled to appear in court June 18th. In Tolland, Victoria Anderson, Fox 61.
Victoria, thank you. Now, State Senator Jeff Gordon, who represents Tolland, released a statement on the investigation. He spoke with us and called the discovery deeply disturbing and said he was open to future legislation when it comes to animal cruelty.
The people who show up there and doing the betting, they know it's illegal. So they're complicit in it. And then unfortunately, all the animals that either died or needed to be euthanized, it just overall just shocking. So the more we will learn later from law enforcement about what happened and what can be done in the future legislatively to hold people more accountable, I'll wait to hear that.
Now, Gordon told us this wasn't just a lucky catch, but the result of a lengthy investigation.
There was certainly knowledge that something was going on and this was a pre-planned raid, so it was clearly designed to capture as many people in the act as possible.
Gordon also thanked law enforcement and said their actions sent a clear message that this will not be tolerated in Tolland or anywhere here in our state. All right, moving on to the weather now. We've issued a weather impact alert, but it's not for the rain this time, certainly not for snow. This time it's for heat. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is joining us with more. Rach, it's been a minute since we've issued a weather impact alert for heat.
Yeah, we like to let people know when the weather will impact your life, and whether it's trying to figure out how to get the AC units installed or limiting strenuous activity outside. You might be finding yourself trying to do that as we head through tomorrow and Wednesday, especially during peak heating of the day, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. for that combo of heat and humidity. So even though we know how to deal with it, sometimes the first heat of the season also can catch people off guard. We also do have a weather impact alert in effect for storms for Wednesday afternoon, not for tomorrow afternoon, and some of those could be strong to severe, so make sure you're staying weather aware. Right now, temperatures are in the 80s inland, 70s for most of the shoreline with the exception of Groton, and it's also a bit breezy out there as well. Winds are out of the south, which is why it's cooler at the shoreline. Overnight lows stay in the 60s, so it is a mild start to the day tomorrow and a wild finish with record challenging heat, highs in the low to mid 90s, and we could even get warmer than this. That's inland. For the shoreline, it's not as hot, but we're still looking at highs well into the 80s. We'll take a look at the storms that break the heat and the chill that follows for Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Nearly every corner of the state will be impacted by the 2026 legislative session held by Connecticut lawmakers, where sweeping changes touched every sector from elections and education to AI, healthcare, and public safety. The General Assembly approved no excuse absentee voting, tightened gun laws, expanded consumer privacy protections, and rolled out new regulations on artificial intelligence. Lawmakers also responded to concerns over child welfare by creating a new oversight committee following several high-profile DCF cases. And on the financial side, the state approved billions in budget adjustments, boosted education funding, and created new tax breaks for caregivers and small businesses. Other major changes include new rules for homeschooling, stronger workplace protections, expanded benefits for veterans and first responders, and new oversight of private equity ownership in hospitals and nursing homes. Now, the report from the Office of Legislative Research calls the measures some of the most significant and publicly debated acts passed during the 2026 session.
A body found in the Connecticut River earlier this month has been identified as that of a missing Massachusetts man. Police say 63-year-old Donald Plassey went missing in January following an incident near the Connecticut River in South Hadley. His body was found on May 9th when a boater reported seeing a body in the area of the Chester Lime Ferry. Right now, police are still investigating what happened there. And state environmental officials say a child got hurt after being pinned underneath a jet ski. They say it happened yesterday at Indian Wells State Park in Shelton. The child had minor injuries. As for how it happened, the DEP says a jet ski rider fell off, but the jet ski itself kept going toward the shore and landed on top of the child. With it being National Safe Boating Week, DEP is using this accident as a reminder that it's all boaters' responsibility to help create a safe boating environment for themselves and everyone else on the water.
One person is seriously hurt after a crash that shut down South Main Street in East Windsor for hours earlier today. Now, it happened around 11 a.m. on South Main Street. According to East Windsor police, the crash involved a car and a motorcycle. The motorcyclist was flown to the hospital, but his condition has not been released at this time. Right now, officials are investigating what caused that crash.
A major decision from a judge tonight on what evidence prosecutors will be allowed to show the jury at the trial for Luigi Mangione and what's off limits. Caroline Elliott is in New York with more.
A key ruling Monday in the New York murder trial of Luigi Mangione, who's accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York City sidewalk. The judge blocking evidence found in a backpack when Mangione was initially arrested at a Pennsylvania McDonald's.
The search of the backpack at the McDonald's was improper warrantless search.
That includes a gun magazine with bullets, cell phone, passport wallet, and a USB drive. But allowed in is the evidence that was discovered later on at the police station.
The items recovered at the station will not be suppressed.
The decision is a bigger victory for the prosecution, who will be able to show jurors the 3D printed gun found in Mangione's backpack.
He is going to face the weapon that matches with this alleged murder, and that is usually the most important piece of evidence the prosecutors can have.
As well as a notebook that helps shed light on a potential motive, with one excerpt reading, quote, "The target is insurance, it checks every box." The judge also ruled that Mangione showing police a fake ID and giving a fake name will be allowed in, but his own explanations for why he presented them will not. And Mangione's state murder trial is expected to start in September, where he faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox 61.
Now to another high-profile case. Just 1 week after his 2 murder convictions were overturned, Alex Murdo is now suing the former court clerk. That clerk, Becky Hill, allegedly interfered with the jury during his high-profile 2023 murder trial. Murdo's attorney said Hill's actions were financially motivated because of her desire to publish a tell-all book about the trial and what went on behind the scenes. Murdo now remains in jail for a 40-year federal sentence for embezzlement.
Right now, thousands of people in New York are trying to get home as they navigate the first weekday of the Long Island Railroad strike. 3,500 workers walked off their jobs over the weekend in a dispute over wage and health care premiums. Those workers are represented by 5 unions. Leaders from the MTA and the unions met early this morning to work on a new deal. This afternoon, an MTA leader told reporters the talks appeared to stall. The rail workers say they feel their demands aren't asking too much of the MTA.
We're not asking for a lot. We've been 3 years without raises. We've been through every avenue to try to get a fair wage increase. 2 presidential election boards have sided with us. They also agree that we're just trying to keep up with this economy right now.
The Long Island Railroad serves nearly 300,000 passengers daily. The MTA has shuttle buses in place to offset the rail service, but the buses have a combined capacity of about 13,000 passengers.